obsessed? I would say yes, but in a good way. I only thought people made knives up in like the country. It just kind of came naturally to me, so I was just like, you know something? I think this is something I can do. I was around 10 years old when my grandfather gave me my first knife. I said, Grandpa, can I go look at your Bowie? Can I go look at your Bowie? And I guess after the 50th time of him showing me it, he said, you know something, let me just give it to the guy. And I tell you, man, I think I slept with it the first night I got it. Felt like I was an adult, you know. I felt powerful. It was just really cool to own something, I guess, that was, you know, dangerous maybe. The love was always there. I always collected. And then one day I just tried making one. It's the first one I ever made, man. That's how I knew I was on the right track. Really, the blade which I'm most known for are my Kukri blades. I mean, as you can see with the fat belly, with the drop in the head, it's just designed to chop. My first step would be to draw out onto the blade a rough shape. I would cut it out with my angle grinder. I want it to get as evenly heated as possible from tip down past the handle. It's very important to get an even heat throughout the whole blade. When you see that bright orange, kind of like what you're seeing right here, is over 1250 degrees. You want it about 1450 degrees when you start forging. Well, at least I do anyways. A Kukri is basically a curved machete. The most difficult blades to forge. It has this big drop point. It has this big curved belly. And nailing the geometry of all that is really difficult. It's a blade that's been proven through centuries. I want to get this blade strong, so I heat the blade up again, and then I go in for a quick oil quench. The quench is basically the part of the heat treating process where you turn the blade from soft steel to hard, usable steel. Now that the blade is heat treated, it's hardened, it's tempered, it's strong, it's ready for the finish work. So I would start grinding in the bevels, the edge, and just overall cleaning up the whole blade. Now that I got the blade finished, you know, I want to make sure the handle fits, you know, and it's gonna look right. So I basically am drawing out a sketch of the handle onto the material, so I can pre-drill the holes and roughly shape it before I glue it onto the blade itself. Now that the handle is glued on and hard, I can start shaping the handle and getting it, you know, comfortable and looking nice, and polishing it to where it looks awesome. Pretty much just shaping out the overall look of the handle. The handwork is where I really put the finishing touches on the blade. The last step would just be putting my logo on it, my maker's mark. It's kind of like when you would see an artist sign his painting. It represents everything I'm about. My first year into making knives, I was contacted by Forged and Fire. Did an interview, didn't have enough experience at the time, I was turned down. I almost wanted to prove to them that they made the wrong choice by turning me down, so I went even harder after that.
I know I can make good blades. Just want the rest of the world to know.
My Forged and Fire experience was wild. I knew exactly the road I was going to go to making this blade. Cameras are in your face and it's hot in there.
You've made it to the final round of this competition. The Sika sword.
The process of making the sword was difficult. A Sika sword is a gladiator sword. I'm nervous. They bring my blade out. Oh man, it performed so great. In the end, the truth is they gave him the win. I was really happy for him that he won, and I knew this is just the beginning for me. It was almost like a dream. It was like a dream come true. We're definitely like apples and oranges, me and Theo. He gave me my first real good lessons.
I think I always had an appreciation for knives. Started messing around in my bedroom in my East Village apartment, and really got bit by the bug. But it was only a little bit later that I began to actually, understand what a knife was. We know it's a tool, we know it's a weapon, we know it's practical and useful. The extension of oneself through a tool or weapon is a big part of why we like knives, absolutely. One of the things that I'm seeing is that a lot of my younger students no longer have classes that teach them the basics of working with their hands. And their parents want them to do something physical so that they have at least some idea of what craftsmanship is. Stephanie is a good friend of mine. She's naturally gifted. I think that in the past year she's made immeasurable progress. She started with just a knife.
When you're at the forge, you're just here with your piece of metal, forgetting about everything else and just having fun. I joke with my friends about how it gets out my aggression, but also how I can get very zen doing it. It definitely is a male-dominated field, so I'd like to see more women in it.
My daughter Isabella is my rock. She's my number one. She's the reason why I do all this, my drive, my passion. Really want to make her proud and have someone to look up to one day. She is very excited about what I do. She's even done some drawings at school, you know, mommy, daddy, then daddy with a sword. What would be better than my daughter wanting to forge, you know? From grandfather to me to my daughter, I mean, that's exactly what it's all about.